The most prestigious tournament final in Strong Style America's history will happen today as the third ever Strong Style Showdown comes to a close. And can we reach the next size by hitting 35 popularity before our biggest show yet, Strong Style 40? And be sure to drop a like on the video to find out who the upcoming mystery signings will be, as that will be revealed in the next episode when we hit 400 likes. Head over to Patreon to gain access to many save points from this series, and buy the game at TEWDB.com using the banner at the top of the site if you haven't already done so. We've made quite a few signings recently, but we're actually going to be making one more in this episode for a 2-match program that I've got planned in the coming weeks. So we will be signing the mentor of Junai Kai, that being Thunder Rosa. Now, in the last episode, we finished with the Strong Style Showdown kickoff show. On that show, I forgot to run a vignette for Junai Kai, which has upset her. Now, it has been an ongoing battle of making sure that we use people properly, and with Junai Kai being a major star, basically she has to be on every show for her not to complain. And yeah, basically just forgot to add her vignette, and that means we need to make it up to her. So, in order to do that, as I say, we're going to sign Thunder Rosa, and she will be coming in on a 2-night deal. And as you can see here, Junai thinks it's an excellent idea. It's going to cost quite a lot of money, but I think it'll be worth it, and I think she should be able to bring some good ratings. Now let's actually look at what kind of ratings she draws then. As if we take a look at her last match, which was in July, so last month, literally just 1 week ago pretty much, she drew a 54 and was the best person in her match on a random independent show in Pasadena in the Mid-South. So that rating does reflect what she will be getting for us, with this also being in the Mid-South. And she will be challenging for the Women's Championship straight off the bat, actually, and taking on Killer Kelly in an open invitation on the next episode of Propaganda. So we're going to try and bring her price down, though, and offer her 900 instead of 1,200. Actually, we need to apply the template first. So let's go for 900. We'll go with a 3-month deal, but with 2 appearances. Maybe we do 3. No, we'll go with 2 for now. And I think we'll just keep it at that for now. She does want 1,030, so we'll accept that. She wants some merchandise cut as well. So 10%, 15, 20. And she wants a little bit more, 25. Will that do? And yeah, that's a done deal. So as I say, 2 appearance deal there for Thunder Rosa, with a legitimate challenger coming into the company to challenge the women's champion straight away. Of course, with us having the Strong Style Showdown running right now, we need some challenges for Killer Kelly to get some defenses in there. And yeah, Thunder Rosa feels like the perfect fit, with her having very, very good stats across the board and good popularity as well. And she is an intense personality, which means that if she's happy, she'll have a good effect. If she's unhappy, she'll have a bad effect. So we'll sort of have to manage that. And hopefully having her protege, Junai Kai, with her will help that. And hopefully we can get Junai Kai back to near happiness, at least, with her coming in. So let's go forward then and get that deal done and get straight into the first show. Okay, so before we can get to that Thunder Rosa deal being agreed, we have got the new contract coming through for Stephen Wolf, which we offered in the last episode. And he will be renewing for 3 more years after impressing early on in his Strong Style career. And we've also got the deal for Zaya Chow to sign as well. So let's go forward. Okay, so that Zaya Chow deal can be signed, $220 per show. So let's get that done then. And we do want to apply her alter ego. And let's go forward one more time. And there we are. Then we can bring Thunder Rosa in. And as for our shortlist, the WWE contract of Gunther is actually expiring, but it looks like the company do want to keep him. And he has really started to impress in this save, and I believe it is top of the Power 500. Yeah, he's considered the best wrestler in the world right now. But yeah, it looks like he'll be staying in WWE nonetheless. But I do think that a bunch of other AEW and WWE contracts are expiring pretty soon. So if we go to the overall here and sort by when the contracts expire, you'll see there's a lot of people with 37 days left on their deals, and there's some with even less. So Braun Strowman's deal ends in 28 days, Scarlett Bordeaux's in 35. So yeah, there could be some free agents popping up very, very soon. And it's the same case in AEW, as I say. So if we go to roster overview, There's a lot of contracts with 37 days left and 26 there for Angelo Parker. So it'll be interesting to see what the free agency pool looks like in 1 month's time. So maybe we'll check back on that in this episode. And we are on the day of the show then, and the signing of Thunder Rosa has made Janai Kai happy, and she is now pleased and in the green, so that's really good to see. And that leaves us then with 5 more people to get on our side in the coming months. And we won't be giving anybody the night off tonight. And once again, we're going to be using a generic venue, but we're expecting 722 people in the building tonight, which I think would be a record. And you also see here that the economy and wrestling industry is beginning to recover. Now, we covered recently how it was rock bottom, but was rising once again. And you can see here that the economy is no longer weak, and it's considered below average, which is definitely helping our cause. But yeah, let's go with a generic venue, and for broadcasters, of course, we're going to use all of them. And there's been a strike within the local transport, and it'll have no impact on the final attendance, but it does mean that you won't have as much time as normal to hold your regular booking meeting. As a result, the amount of creative energy you've generated is going to be reduced. Okay, interesting. So let's see how much by then. So we only generated 77 creative energy, which gives us a stored total of 93. And we do still have that bad chemistry with Jim Smallman and Dave Prazak that we need to fix, which will probably see us releasing Jim at some point, but we will leave it for now, and we're going to leave that creative energy in the bank. Emi Sakura has been running drills with Zeta Zhang and Gail Peak as always, and she's also been running them with Rokas Horvat. AJ Mendez gave the locker room a lift as she unveiled a series of spot-on impressions of some of her colleagues, which is good to see. And several people have remarked that Kevin Blackwood has been hanging out with Rokas Horvat recently and is starting to have an influence. And Miranda Elise and Ryan Davidson, I think 2 local Texans, have been bonding recently as well. And that's all of the locker room incidents. As for addressing the locker room, we're going to pull a rib once again. We've been doing this quite a lot recently, and we're basically just hoping that it at least pleases the locker room, if not the individual worker. And if we go through, we'll try and find somebody that's not too annoyed. So we'll go with Rokas Horvat, I think. I think his rib last time failed, so maybe it'll go better this time. But yeah, a minor rib on him. Let's see what happens. So it went down well with the rest of the locker room, and there was no response from Horvat. So there's quite a lot going on tonight then, so let's break down the card. As Nicole Matthews and Gail Peak will go one-on-one in a dark match, just to get Gail some more reps whilst keeping major star Nicole Matthews on the show and to keep her happy. Adam Priest will then take on Stephen Wolf again in a dark match, before Gran Dorado and Kevin Blackwood team up to take on LJ Cleary and MV Young. Zaya Chow will then open the main show with a singles match against Trish Adora as Zaya tries to pick up some more momentum after her debut. Alex Kane and Shaft will then actually meet in a strong style showdown qualification match. Now, if you remember in the last episode, these 2 men drew in their match for a spot in the strong style showdown elimination round. So yeah, that'll be happening once again tonight, and hopefully we can get a winner. Miranda Elise will then cut a promo before a Janai Kai vignette. Ryan Davidson will defend his heavyweight championship against King Rex. Now, they recently did compete in a triple threat match for the title with Eric Hammer, and Eric Hammer took the fall, so we're running it back with King Rex taking on Davidson. Then there will be some post-match scenes before Killer Kelly defends her women's championship against the debuting Thunder Rosa. So let's get into it then and see how it goes. And we open up with a 41 for the match between Matthews and Peak, as Nicole Matthews defeats Gail Peak in 9 minutes 53 with a Vancouver maneuver. And apparently they have great chemistry, which is good to see, and that definitely helped the rating. Gail Peak there with a 21, so she is slowly improving, whilst Nicole Matthews got a 47. Next up, Adam Priest has defeated Stephen Wolf in 9 minutes 45, and Priest recently lost in the qualification round of the Strong Style Showdown, so we're just getting him a win back over Stephen Wolf, who wasn't even in the tournament whatsoever. And Adam Priest here with a 36, and actually being outdone by Stephen Wolf. And I think it's becoming more and more clear that Adam Priest post-injury just isn't the same wrestler, and yeah, maybe his days are numbered in the company, but that's something we'll have to track going forward. But overall though, it got a 44, so Wolf actually carried it to a good rating. Next up, we go to the tag match, and in a bout that had superb wrestling and great heat, Gran Dorado and Kevin Blackwood have defeated LJ Cleary and MV Young, and it was Blackwood that pinned Young here with a running knee strike. And MV Young was the weak link, with his 33 there, struggling to keep up with everybody else. Kevin Blackwood had a 64, Gran Dorado 62, and LJ Cleary 51. And LJ and MV's performance wasn't helped by their lack of chemistry as a team, which is a shame to see, but it still did get a 59 rating, which is actually pretty good as we go into the main show now and open up with Xia Chow defeating Trish Adora in 14 minutes 45, and Trish just cannot catch a break right now, but we need to build up Xia Chow, and we're doing just that with a win over Trish Adora. However, with that said, Xia Chow did only get a 41, whilst Trish Adora got a 49, so perhaps a little bit unfair there for Trish. However, it does say that Xia was off her game, so maybe she would have outperformed her had she not been. I don't know, who knows, but with that said, a 51 rating there to kick off the broadcast. And next up then, Alex Kane has defeated Shaf in 12 minutes 41 by pinfall with the mark of Kane, which sees Alex Kane now qualify for the elimination match of the Strong Style Showdown. Now originally I was going to put both men in the elimination match, but we needed another match for tonight, and it just made sense to run it back and give Kane some momentum heading into the tournament. Now we'll see how far he goes in the Strong Style Showdown, and overall a 57 rated match, so really good from both men. As we go to the ring where Miranda Elise is flanked by Viano Free Jr. and Joseph Finette Jr. Elise states that it's an embarrassment to Strong Style Americas that Thunder Rosa could just walk into the company and get a title shot without wrestling a single match, and she vows that she will end the reign of Killer Kelly. So yeah, setting up some interesting dynamics ahead of tonight's main event, where despite Miranda being a rival of Killer Kelly right now, she wants to be the one to take the belt from her, and Thunder Rosa doesn't deserve the spot in her eyes. And yeah, this is the classic villain that has a point. We're going to go forward with that, and some greens there for the commentary and the angle getting the crowd hotter, but it was only a 34, but that's not too bad. So let's go forward to the Janai Kai vignette then. The body bag that was found in the dark alleyway in past vignettes is now inside a candle-lit martial arts dojo. A woman can then be seen playing a piano in the background, and the woman then gets up, and it turns out to be Zeta Zhang, who unzips the body bag to reveal Janai Kai laying inside, who then opens her eyes as the screen fades to black. So yeah, we're just building up the martial arts stable that we've been talking about in recent episodes, with Janai Kai and Zeta Zhang having a mixed martial arts background. And yeah, the Back from the Dead storyline has advanced with this segment and got a 42, so that's pretty good. But let's move on then to the heavyweight championship match, where Ryan Davidson has successfully defeated King Rex clean in 13 minutes 29 by pinfall with a frog splash. And this was defense number 7 of his Strong Style heavyweight title. And yeah, I just felt like Ryan needed a clean win for his reign, and he's got that tonight against King Rex, who will look to bounce back in the Strong Style Showdown and has the opportunity to do just that. Ryan though got a 54, King Rex with a 46. Ryan was off his game though, but they did get a 57 overall, which is round and about where every match has been tonight, which is good to see and shows some consistency across the card. But let's see what happens after the match then, as King Rex and Ryan Davidson shake hands in a show of respect. Wardlow and Eric Hammer then storm down the ramp as they barge into each other to get to the ring first. They both then attack their respective rival, as Wardlow brawls with Davidson, whilst Rex brawls with Hammer. The energy exhausted in the match sees Ryan and Rex lose the battle as they are knocked out of the ring. This leaves Hammer and Wardlow to go face to face as the two gigantic men stare each other down. Alex Kane then walks out to the top of the ramp as both men turn to face him. So this is just a preview of what's to come next month in the Strong Style Showdown elimination match. We've got some really strong heavyweights entering the match, and it's a tough one to call, and this one's just a tease of that. And the Hammering Rex storyline has advanced with this segment, and AJ's Client storyline has advanced with this segment as well, but that one lost heat. But overall, a 51, so not a bad segment at all. And then we go into our main event then, as in an exceptional match that had great chemistry as well. Thunder Rosa has lost, unfortunately, to Killer Kelly by submission. This after a distraction from Miranda Elise. So yeah, Miranda Elise helping Killer Kelly tonight with a distraction. which I'm sure Kelly won't be happy about. And now Miranda can brag to Kelly that she's only got the belt because of her. And yeah, it sort of continues that theme of Miranda being annoyed that Rosa has been handed a title shot, and she's cost her here tonight. And this is defense number 5 for Killer Kelly of her Strong Style Women's title. Killer Kelly here with a 75, which is actually the highest performance we've ever had, outdoing Viano Free Jr.'s 74 that he got on a recent show a few months back. And yeah, overall a 67 rating. And Thunder Rosa debuted her La Mera Mera gimmick and got a great. And yeah, I think we're going to have to run this one back at some point with that great chemistry. And maybe Thunder Rosa has secured herself a long-term contract potentially, as she has that great chemistry with our women's champion. But we will see how that develops going forward. But let's see how the show rated overall then, as we get a 61, increasing our popularity in 23 regions. So once again, we hit the cap for growth in the Mid-South, but have improved in every other region. Of course, we ran the Strong Style Showdown kickoff show earlier this month, which is where we hit that limit for our own region. But as for addressing the locker room, we're going to praise Thunder Rosa and praise King Rex, both of which lost the title matches tonight, but we will say great performance for both of them, and they're both pleased. As for financials then, we only lost $44 tonight, and that was with 2 big wages on the show, that being Thunder Rosa and Wardlow. So yeah, really good to see, and had we not signed Thunder Rosa, we probably would have made a big profit tonight. But that's fine because we had a great main event. And of course, if we break even on the shows near enough, we make a profit in the month because of sponsorship and everything like that. And for popularity then, we've gone up in 3 regions from what I can see. So New England's gone up from 1 to 2, Alberta from 2 to 3, and the same for British Columbia, both of those in Canada, which sees us with some more international growth, which is great to see. And we are starting to see some news stories about the major contracts that are coming to an end. So you see here that WWE expected to keep Gigi Dolan and Scarlett Bordeaux. The same with Lee Johnson in AEW. But we will check back once those deals end and see who re-signed and who didn't. But for now, we will skip to the end of the month to check out how we did financially, unless anything else pops up. So let's start with the regional battles then, and we did finish first this time around once again, and we're running away with it at this point. But Reality of Wrestling have just increased their production value to professional, which I think means we have to match them to not get a penalty on our shows. So let's just double check that and see. From what I can see, there's no kind of warning, but let's go to view rival levels, and it appears to only show Lucha Libre and Laughs. I wonder if that's because they're the only one with a broadcast deal. And yeah, I think we're okay for now, but we'll keep an eye on it. I don't think we have to touch our production value just yet. As for finances then, we made a profit of $4,225 this month. A big increase there on ticket sales thanks to the attendance, and I think the growing economy and rising wrestling industry in the game. We got slightly more in broadcast revenue, not a whole bunch. We got a little bit more in sponsorship as well as merchandise. As for expenses, we spent slightly more on workers, but our financial estimates for sponsorships is actually starting to even itself out. So obviously our sponsorship estimate used to be way more than what we were actually getting, but with the economy back on its feet, we're getting closer to what it says there. And I do need to check the viewership for the last show as well. So on the Strong Style Showdown kickoff show, we brought in 11,355 viewers. Last time around on Strong Style Propaganda, it was 12,133, which is around a 1,000 increase upon the last episode of Propaganda as well, which is slightly helped by the better show rating, going from a 58 to a 61. And even the episode of Propaganda was actually better than the Strong Style Showdown kickoff show as well. But that is to be expected because that's very much the bottom of the junior heavyweight division and the heavyweight division fighting for the most part, with the main stars of those divisions qualifying automatically for the elimination match, so they don't have to go through the qualification process. However, tonight is Strong Style 38, and we will be seeing those elimination matches take place. So on the heavyweight side of things, it will be the champion of the division, Ryan Davidson, Eric Hammer, King Rex, Alex Kane and Wardlow in a 5-man elimination match. And elimination can happen via pinfall and submission, and the winner of that will enter the Strong Style Showdown final. And it's the same on the junior heavyweight side of things, so it'll be the champion Viano Free Jr., Kevin Blackwood, Gran Dorado, Joseph Fenech Jr. and Egil Blanc. And in both matches, if somebody can eliminate the champion of their respective division, they will earn a championship match at Strong Style 40, our biggest show of the year. And the final of the Strong Style Showdown will happen 1 month prior at Strong Style 39. So it is possible that somebody could eliminate their champion and win the elimination match and then advance to the final, win the Strong Style Showdown and then win their championship. So there's big stakes in what could be a star-making 2 months for one of these men. But let's see who advances to the final and get to the show itself. And once again, nobody will be getting the night off tonight, and we will be using a generic venue, and we're near enough bringing in the same amount of fans that we did last time. It's actually slightly down on Strong Style Propaganda. We're expecting 722 fans as opposed to 733 that were in the building last time around, but maybe a good rating will bump up that attendance. As for broadcasters, once again, we're going to use them all, and we have the booking team meeting, and I think we're just going to store the energy for now. We don't really need it. And let's go to the locker room incidents then, where Gail Peak was brought before Wrestlers Court, accused of failing to pick up her share of the tab of a rental car, and now she has to pay the full cost and reimburse her travel partners. And this had a small positive impact upon Gail Peak, that'll show her. Emi Sakura had been running drills with Zeta Zhang, however not Gail Peak this time, interestingly, and also Rokas Horvat on the men's side of things. Ryan Davidson came to you backstage with a storyline idea. It has automatically been added to your stored creative ideas, which is interesting, so we'll have a look at that. And for addressing the locker room then, let's try team bonding. It's not worked in quite some time, but let's see if it does this time. And it served to create tensions in a few relationships, but it did actually strengthen a few as well. So it could be worse, could be better. And for the creative idea then for Ryan Davidson, this one's a big gamble, so we might just leave that. But we do have a angle idea that's a safe bet for anybody stored, as well as a Killer Kelly angle idea that we'll probably use in the very near future. But we do have actually only a few days left to do this one, so we'll probably do the Killer Kelly one, and we have around 2 months left to do this generic one. Okay, so we did use one of the creative ideas, that being the one for Killer Kelly, because that ends in, well, very soon. And we're going to keep the generic one for a bit later on, maybe for Strong Style 40, just to give us an extra boost on that show. And the Ryan Davidson one, I think we're just going to leave. In fact, you know what? What's the worst that could happen? Let's just use it on the ongoing AJ's Client storyline. So let's deploy creative idea and see how we get on. And actually, the restrictions on this storyline idea prevent you from using it. So Ryan Davidson has a major role, which he has, and has been involved for at least 30 days. Okay, so we'll have to wait a little bit. So we can add it in about 3 days, so we'll do that. But without any further ado, let's run down the card then, as we open with a dark match between Nicole Matthews and Black Swan. And Black Swan is one of the local workers that's available to us, and she's 26 years old, 5 years in the business. However, she's a safe worker with 70 safety, good athleticism, 74, decent stamina as well, but she's only in there 5 minutes tonight. And yeah, we're going to give her a shot and see how she gets on. Then we move on to another pre-show match as Killer Kelly takes on Gail Peak, just to get Kelly in the ring tonight. And then we go to the opening match of the main show where Miranda Elise takes on Thunder Rosa. Now this will be the last match on Thunder Rosa's contract. However, there is some seeds planted for a potential return at some point, which will be set in the post-match scenes. And then we go to the heavyweight elimination match of the Strong Style Showdown, with Ryan Davidson, Eric Hammer, King Rex, Alex Kane and Wardlow for a spot in the Strong Style Showdown final. And then we go into a Janai Kai vignette before we main event with the junior heavyweight side of the Strong Style Showdown as Viano Free Jr., Kevin Blackwood, Gran Dorado, Joseph Fenech Jr. and Egil Blanc battle for their place in the Showdown final. So let's get into it. And we open up then with a 33 between Swan and Matthews, and Yeah, not too bad. A 33. It was only a 5-minute match, which definitely affected the rating. But Nicole, of course, wins the match with a Vancouver maneuver. And Matthews got a 47, so decent. And Black Swan got a 21, so not too bad. About on par with Gail Peak there. And next up, we go to another pre-show match as Killer Kelly defeats Gail Peak in 5 minutes 14 with a curb stomp. And Kelly here with a 55. Actually, Gail Peak down there at 17. So less than Black Swan, and this got a 36 overall. And both women were off their game as well, actually really off their game it says, which no doubt affected the rating. But we get into the main show then, where Miranda Alize has defeated Thunder Rosa in 14 minutes 54 by pinfall by using underhanded tactics. And with this one, we had to set it so Thunder Rosa was kept strong, which I think hampered her performance, and we had to actually do that last time when she lost to Killer Kelly as well. So a 52 there for Thunder Rosa and 48 for Miranda Alize. But yeah, two big wins for two of our wrestlers here with Killer Kelly and Miranda Alize both getting a win over Thunder Rosa, and it looks like those two will be meeting at Strong Style 40 with some momentum. And a good match there with a segment rating of 49 to open up the show. And let's see what happens after then. As after the match, Miranda Alize continues the beatdown on Thunder Rosa after cheating to win. Then Killer Kelly then rushes to the ring to clear house as Alize escapes. And now, this is interesting because Thunder Rosa is the mentor of Janai Kai, Killer Kelly's longtime rival now at this point, and it looks like they might be on the same side of each other on screen. So if we were to bring Thunder Rosa back, that could be a way of setting up a feud between her and Janai Kai later down the road, sort of mentor versus protege. That's something that we do have in our back pocket now, and we may run it at Strong Style 40. I'm not entirely sure whether Janai will be back on screens by that point, or if she'll still be running vignettes, but we will see how it goes over time. And as I said, we used the Killer Kelly angle idea there, and it was a success, and overall a really good segment at 59. And next up we go into the heavyweight elimination match, and the order of elimination was Eric Hammer, who was eliminated by Wardlow, then Ryan Davidson, who was eliminated by Wardlow, and then King Rex, who was eliminated by Wardlow, and then finally Alex Kane topples Wardlow in the final two to come away with the win. However, we do have an issue here where Wardlow's picked up a back injury. Now hopefully that's not something that will affect him for too long, as he's now scheduled in for a heavyweight championship match against Ryan Davidson at Strong Style 40, so we'll have to see how he gets on there in terms of recovery. We'll have to check that after the show. Ryan Davidson got a 56. Alex Kane there, the winner, getting a 53, so it looks like we've picked the right winner if we weren't to go with the champion, which is good to see. Then Wardlow was in at third place with a 51, and Hammer and Rex both got a 46 as their feud continues, as you can see there, and the AJ's Client storyline has advanced with this segment but apparently lost heat. And King Rex was off his game as well, which didn't help the rating. And AJ Mendez did do some good work at ringside though, getting us a 48 overall. Now hopefully Wardlow will be back within a couple of months, as Strong Style 40 is in November. Now we can run it at the end of November, so it'll be around 3 months if that's something we have to do. But yeah, Alex Kane advances to the Strong Style Showdown final next month at Strong Style 39, whilst Wardlow advances to the Heavyweight Championship match at Strong Style 40. And Wardlow sustained a back injury, so that's confirmation there from Emi Sakura, and we will see how that goes. But next up we go to a rerun of the Janai Kai vignette, this one being the piano one, before the body bag is unzipped by Zeta Zhang, before Janai Kai opens her eyes. And the Back from the Dead storyline has advanced with this segment and got a 41 overall. But it's time for the main event then, and the Junior Heavyweight Championship Strong Style Eliminator match. And let's see who comes away with the #1 contendership, as well as the place in the final. And Kevin Blackwood has defeated Viano Free Jr., Gran Dorado, Joseph Finette Jr. and Egil Blanc in 13 minutes 40. Now in terms of order of elimination, Egil Blanc was eliminated by Joseph Finette Jr., his old rival, this after a distraction from LJ Cleary, so we are going to continue that feud that we set up in the last episode. Then Gran Dorado was eliminated by Viano Free Jr., then Joseph Finette Jr. was eliminated by Kevin Blackwood, and finally in the final two, Kevin Blackwood has eliminated Viano Free Jr. Not only has he earned himself a spot in the Strong Style Showdown final, but he also has a title shot at Strong Style 40, so we set up a huge match for the big show. Kevin Blackwood versus Viano Free Jr., both of them getting a 71 in this match. If they can match that in the title bout, then we're in for a high rating. Grand Dorado, though, got a 65, so he actually wasn't too far behind. Fennec Jr. with a 50 and Eagle Blanc with a 52, and the Veil Emerges storyline had advanced with this segment and gained heat. And yeah, 70 overall, so a hell of a way to end the show. And Kevin Blackwood now advances to Strong Style 39, where he takes on Alex Kane. So that as well should be a great match. So let's see how we did overall then. And we get a 63, so not too bad. And we increased in popularity in 24 regions, which is solid. And as for addressing the locker room then, let's praise Ryan Davidson and Viano, the two champions on the losing side tonight. And we'll keep them both happy there. And as for injury, Wardlow can work through his injury, and it's only for 37 days. We could do surgery, but I don't really want to risk it. It's not really worth it. And yeah, we can just have him in segments building up to Strong Style 40. And he's not scheduled in for a match at Strong Style 39, so we're not going to miss him in the ring. And yeah, we'll wait for him to be ready for a full return. And we actually made a profit tonight of $350. Which is great to see. We sold nearly $6,000 worth of tickets, nearly brought in $1,000 of broadcast revenue, and merchandise was just over 1.7k. And yeah, really solid night financially, especially now that we're using more wrestlers on the show, and to see us turning a profit is definitely a good sign. And as for popularity then, we increased in popularity in many regions, so let's break it down then. We're gone from 31 to 32 in the Mid-South, from 5 to 6 in Great Lakes and Mid-Atlantic, from 6 to 7 in Northwest. Puerto Rico and Hawaii have also both gone up from 1 to 2. And Maritimes and Quebec in Canada have gone from 2 to 3, so we're now 3 across the board in Canada. And the same has happened in the British Isles. As for attendance then, how did we get on at that past show? So Strong Style 38 was 732 people in the building, which is only one person behind Strong Style Propaganda from August 2027. So yeah, we're really starting to get some butts in seats right now. And as for viewership figures then, let's check that as well. So we had 12,396 people watching, and this is up from the Propaganda show and every other show that we've ran. So yeah, we're finally into the 12,000s as we continue to grow. And we do have confirmation that Thunder Rosa has officially left after the end of her 2 appearance contract. And let me just check that Janai Kai is still happy, and apparently she's annoyed after being left off Strong Style. She was on the show. She was in a vignette. Oh, man. Okay, so they have to be in the building? I guess that means Janai Kai needs to return pretty soon then. I just cannot catch a break with this morale thing. And it looks like also the Thunder Rosa thing's worn off because she's no longer with the company. So yeah, maybe that could persuade me to bring her back in for a feud with Janai Kai after she's cozying up with Killer Kelly, which won't make Kai happy at all. You know what? That's what we're going to do. Let's bring her back and offer her a contract for the next 3 years. So again, Janai Kai thinks it's a good idea. And let's apply the template and offer her, I think it was about 1,030 last time that she was paid. So we're just going to go with 900 again and just see what she says. I think she wanted 25% merchandise sales, so we'll offer that as well. And yeah, she wants that $1,030, so I'm happy to meet that and give her it. So she will be our highest paid wrestler, but you will see that her matches are improving. And had she not been kept strong in this match, she would have probably been pushing the 60s. And it's just harder and harder now to find those sort of cheap gems. So if you look at Viano, he is on $90 per show, and he's getting some of the best ratings in the company. Well, in fact, the best ratings in the company. But these sort of cheap deals are so few and far between at this point. So yeah, we do have to start spending a little bit of money to up the show quality. That's why we brought in Wardlow. That's why we're bringing in Thunder Rosa. And that's why we paid a little bit more than normal to bring in Alex Kane as well. So we can confirm the contract of Thunder Rosa then, and she will be with the company for the next 3 years, unless we cut her, of course. And we will apply the gimmick that she's been using. And we also have some news regarding Roman Reigns, and apparently Revolver Wrestling have offered him a deal, and it looks like he will be a road agent or personality. Now, something tells me that's a little bit unrealistic, but we'll go with it, I suppose, and maybe he just wants to stay in the wrestling business for as long as he can, after retiring, of course. This was after he retired pretty recently in August, so yeah, at the end of August, just a few weeks ago now. and he officially hung up his boots after leaving WWE in September 2 years ago. And we do also have some news that I missed, where King Rex relocated by himself to the Mid-South, which is great news, so we'll no longer have to pay for his travel from Mexico, so that will save us $100 every time we use him, and now he's only going to cost us $40 per show, as he lives in the same region as us. Now that has given me the idea to ask some of the wrestlers that don't live near us to move over and see if they're up for it yet. So we're going to ask Eagle Blanc if he wants to move over from Europe, and he said no. I'm also actually reluctant to ask Villano Free Jr. because I've got a feeling that if he moves over from Mexico to the US, he's going to end up signing for a big company. So we're actually going to leave him for now, maybe until we can get an exclusive contract for him. We're not actually too far away from being able to do that, to be honest. It will be the next size that we're able to do it. But we will ask Joseph Finnick Jr. and see what he says. And he's also fine with where he is right now. And how about Janai Kai, actually, because she's in the tri-state at the minute. And she's also happy where she is. Okay, so it looks like the only way to get people to move right now at this size is to have them do it themselves. And speaking of size, we do need to get to 35 to go up to the next size, which is small, which I believe then we can start to sign some exclusive contracts, even though they will be expensive. But I feel like Villano will be someone that we're going to snap up anyway on an exclusive if we can. And I feel he would be worth the money, but we'll see. However, can we do it in time for Strong Style 40? And that's going to be the question. So we do have 2 more shows before Strong Style 40. So it will be tough, but there is a chance that it happens after night 1 and before night 2. So it's time for the next propaganda show. So let's get into it. And once again, we won't be giving anybody the night off. And we will, of course, be using a generic venue once again. However, this time we're expecting 800 fans in the building, which will be 70 more than last time. So let's do that. And of course, we're going to use all of our broadcasters. And for the booking meeting then, we do have some to spend. And we are maxed out at 250 creative energy. So let's spend it. And we're going to grab some creative finishes. And that one's a near certainty for anybody. Let's grab another. And this one's a big gamble for anybody. We might do it, we might not. Let's also grab a character idea to boost somebody's morale. This one's a big gamble. And we'll also grab another character idea, another big gamble as well. So some potentially wasted energy there if we don't use the big gambles. 3 of them were big gambles, which is not good. And we'll also, I'm going to grab another character idea, why not? And that one's a safe bet, which is good. As for locker room incidents then, Thunder Rosa and Janai Kai caused an incident when they antagonized AJ Mendez so much that a fight almost broke out between them, and Emi Sakura issued a stern warning. Now that is not good. It looks like Thunder Rosa and Janai Kai are teaming up backstage on other members of the roster. Yeah, that is not good. However, hopefully that stern warning has simmered them down a little bit. Apparently the incident has been handled and nothing noteworthy has resulted from it. So yeah, that's not good. LJ Cleary got into a heated argument with a fan outside of the arena and had to be restrained before he made things physical. Once again, fighting with fans. This is why we turned him heel. And yeah, and Emi Sakura did respond with a stern warning and the incident has been handled. Emi Sakura is also doing training drills with Zeta Zhang and Gail Peak, as well as Rokas Horvat. Nicole Matthews and Kevin Blackwood have been getting on particularly well, and that's all for locker room incidents. As for addressing the locker room then, I think we're going to save the Inspire for Strong Style 40, so I think we're going to once again pull a rib on somebody. So we're going to pull a rib on Joseph Finnick Jr. Let's see how he responds. The rib was completed but failed to provide any positive or negative effects at all, so that's fine. Next up then, let's apply that character idea to somebody. And I think we're going to put it on Miranda Elise. She is still slightly irritated, and we want to try and cheer her up before we get to Strong Style 40 for her big title match. And we're going to use the one that is a safe bet and see how it goes. And it was a success, but she's still irritated, so there's still work to be done. But hopefully the being left off Strong Style 30 thing wears off soon, because that was almost a year ago now. So for tonight's propaganda event then, we're going to be opening things up with a dark match between Trish Adora and Nicole Matthews. This to tick the box of technical masterclass that we need for the show. Janai Kai then returns to the ring to take on Black Swan, who we saw earlier on in the month in another dark match. And this is just to get Janai warmed up ready for her actual return. Then we go to the broadcast itself, where we open up with Kevin Blackwood in the ring before King Rex and Eagle Blanc team up to take on Eric Hammer and LJ Cleary. So 2 rivalries there blending into one match. And then we go to a segment named Betrayal before Thunder Rosa and Killer Kelly team up to take on Delilah Doom Doom and Black Swan. And there's probably an error here, so let me just check something. That's right, I changed my mind about Black Swan being in the tag match, and we actually brought in Christy James instead. So yeah, this one will be a tag team match between Thunder Rosa and Killer Kelly versus Delilah Doom and Christy James, who is another local worker that we're looking at tonight. And I think Delilah Doom's worked for us before on a one-night deal. So yeah, they're just a job team to go up against the two main attractions in that match. And then AJ and Wardlow will have a promo before the main event. We'll see Ryan Davidson, the heavyweight champion, take on MV Young. And Davidson is looking for some momentum heading into Strong Style 40, where he will defend his title against Wardlow. So let's see how things play out then, as we open up with the Trish Adora Nicole Matthews match, which gets a 50. And this one had great chemistry, which is really cool to see. And it was Trish Adora, actually, that picked up the win over Nicole Matthews by pinfall with a lariat Tubman. And like I say, we needed a technical masterclass, and none of the matches on the show fit the bills. So we stuck this in a dark match, and it's a potential option for a future program with them having great chemistry. And yeah, a 50 rating is a hell of a way to start off. And then we go into the Janai Kai match, where she's defeated Black Swan in 5 minutes by submission. And Janai Kai here with a 55 rating, so solid, and Black Swan with a 20, so rounding about where she was on the last show, and a 37 overall. And then we go to the main show, where Kevin Blackwood opens the show with a promo talking about his upcoming Strong Style Showdown final appearance against Alex Kane, and his Strong Style Junior Heavyweight Championship match against Viano Free Jr. He recognises that he's got a mountain to climb, but by the time the year ends, he will put his name in the history books as the first ever two-time Strong Style Junior Heavyweight Champion and the first ever two-time Strong Style Showdown winner. Joseph Vinec Jr. and Miranda Alize then make their way through the crowd with a microphone to distract Blackwood, but then the lights go out, this before Michael Dante and Killer Kelly appear at ringside to block them. Viano Free Jr. can then be seen on the other side of the arena attempting to make a sneak attack before Blackwood spots him as he retreats. So what I've done here is taken the Kevin Blackwood Viano Free Jr. storyline and combined it with the Veil Emerges storyline, and it will all take place within just one, but it did lose heat in this segment, although it got a 42, which is solid. The performance of Kevin Blackwood was particularly good, this with him being rated on charisma and microphone. Joseph Vinec Jr. and Michael Dante apparently performed poorly in the segment, although the angle idea that we used was a success. And yeah, we do need to turn Kevin Blackwood in this segment, so let's do that then. And he will turn face, and it was a complete success, and it has been built up over 10 segments. And you'll also notice there that his aesthetic crippler gimmick is currently rated as legendary. So yeah, really good stuff from Kevin Blackwood. And he's now a face after the recent LJ Cleary turn on the other side of the division. And speaking of LJ Cleary, he and Eric Hammer have defeated King Rex and Eagle Blanc in 14 minutes 26, when Eric Hammer pinned King Rex using the ropes for leverage. So this gives the heels a win heading into the big show, Strong Style 40, where King Rex will take on Eric Hammer and Eagle Blanc will take on LJ Cleary. But for now, yeah, the heels have got the upper hand. And Eric Hammer got a 38, so the worst performer in the match, and apparently he struggled to keep up with everyone else. LJ Cleary there with a 50, King Rex with a 48, and Eagle Blanc with a 49. And Hammer was off his game, which didn't help, but the Hammering Rex storyline has advanced with this segment. And a 51 there overall for the match, so good stuff. And then Janai Kai and Zeta Zhang are shown inside the candlelit dojo, watching an old television as footage plays of Killer Kelly and Thunder Rosa sharing the ring. This as Zeta talks into Janai Kai's ear. Now, if you remember recently, Kelly made the save for Rosa when she was being attacked by Miranda Alize. And yeah, this is now bleeding into the Janai Kai storyline. And it cuts to footage of Kai striking a punching bag with kicks and punches. And then the camera pans round and the words Rosa can be seen written on the punching bag with red spray paint, and the words betrayal then flash on the screen as it fades to black. So now it looks like Janai Kai has turned her attention to her mentor, Thunder Rosa, for seemingly betraying her in her eyes, and the Back from the Dead storyline has advanced with this segment with a 38 rating. And next up in the tag team match, which did really well with a 59, Thunder Rosa and Killer Kelly Speak of the Devil have defeated Delilah Doom and Christy James in 7 minutes 49 when Killer Kelly pinned Doom with a curb stomp. And Killer Kelly was head and shoulders above everybody else with a 72, Thunder Rosa with a 56, and this is her first performance where she's not being protected or kept strong. So I think that's her best performance so far, from what I remember. I might be wrong. And Christy James there with a 28 and Delilah Doom with a 27, so not too bad from them either. And actually, Thunder Rosa and Killer Kelly have excellent chemistry teaming together. So maybe that is a good team to have were we to start a tag team division in the women's side of things. And Killer Kelly shone in this match too, and as I say, 59 overall. Before we go to a video package that airs that shows highlights of Wardlow's strong style career so far, including his beatdown on Ryan Davidson several weeks ago, as well as him eliminating the champion in the Strong Style Showdown Eliminator. AJ Mendez is narrating the package as she makes clear that Wardlow hasn't forgotten about Alex Kane, who eliminated him in the final two of the Showdown Eliminator, but he'll be dealt with at a later date. She says Strong Style 40 will be Wardlow's crowning moment when he destroys the hometown boy to take what is rightfully his, the Strong Style Heavyweight Championship. And the AJ's client storyline has advanced with this segment and got a 53, so good stuff there from AJ, who was leading the segment. And then Ryan Davidson in the main event has defeated MV Young in 9 minutes 52 by pinfall with a frog splash, giving the champions some momentum heading into that defense. And yeah, Davidson there with a 56, so good stuff, and MV Young with a 38 and a 57 overall. And that's it for the show. And we get a 55 overall, and we increased in popularity in 23 regions, which, once again, we've hit our cap in the Mid-South, but have increased everywhere else that we're shown. And as for addressing the locker room then, let's praise AJ Mendez for her promo, and we'll say that she had a great performance. And we'll also praise, I think, Killer Kelly. I normally praise the losers of the matches, but I will make an exception tonight for the women's champion, and we'll go with that. So they're both pleased, and Killer Kelly is actually very happy with the speech. And for financials, we made $2,133 in profit just for the night. Recently, what we were making in a month. So that is really good to see. We made $6,480 on ticket sales, and merchandise is nearly up to that 2,000 mark now. Really solid performance there financially. And as for popularity, we've risen from 12 to 13 in the Midwest, Southeast and Southwest, and we've also gone up from 3 to 4 in Ontario, Saskatchewan and Manitoba, and everywhere else remains the same. So we will check the attendance and viewership in just a second, but there's some huge news in for fans of The Shield, as Roman Reigns, who recently retired, has now been inducted into the game's Hall of Immortals. Now this is basically a Hall of Fame for the world, essentially, rather than a specific company. And yeah, Roman Reigns has found himself a spot in it, having just been inducted. But not only that, but Jon Moxley has officially left AEW after his contract expired. So it looks like he was one of the many people that were up for renewal earlier in the episode. Not only that though, he's actually joined WWE and returned as Dean Ambrose, as one of the staples of All Elite Wrestling has officially left. Now I wonder if that means other people have left AEW whose contract was set to expire. Let me just quickly check to see if there's any that are set to expire still. So yeah, that is Mercedes Martinez in 19 days, but there's a lot of people that have either renewed their contract or left. So let's check that out first. So if we go to, I think we saw Claudio, yeah, that was in February. Stephen Smith, actually Darby Allin left in July and signed with WWE. Okay, Thunder Rosa, who we know about because we've got her. Matt Menard left AEW and is currently a free agent. Kenny Omega has left AEW and is unemployed. However, he's out with a badly herniated spinal disc and is probably pretty banged up at this point. Yeah, there's reds all over his body there, and it would be unable to negotiate with this regardless. But yeah, I think that might be the end of the cleaner. Roderick Strong has left AEW and is currently a free agent. Maybe an option for us. He is solid. Jon Moxley, as we've seen. Christian Cage has left AEW. He is still active. Really good wrestler and great on the microphone as well. Daniel Garcia has also left AEW and is now working on the independent scene. And Rush has left AEW and is a free agent and is based in the Southeast as well, so he would be travel free. He would fit into our junior heavyweight division quite nicely, actually. And I wonder if he has a masked gimmick. Let's just check. So Rush Toro Blanco. I'm not sure. Maybe we could bring him in under a mask as part of the Veil. That could be quite cool. But how about WWE though? And did anybody leave there? Or is it just signings from AEW? Let's check. So Naomi's left, actually. Tola Tonga, which is Hikuleo. Nick Aldis, Logan Paul, Nick Khan, Rey Mysterio, Asuka, Natalia, Braun Strowman, and the list goes on. And that seems to be all for recent departures. And yeah, some really nice free agents there, especially Rey Mysterio, Asuka. Natalia would even be a good sign-in for us. Naomi as well. Logan Paul would be huge for us in terms of popularity. But yeah, he's not going to speak to us, and I'm not sure if he fits our style regardless. But yeah, the free agents market is looking pretty nice right now. Maybe we'll see 1 or 2 debuts in the coming year or so in Strong Style Americas. However, what we need to check now is how our attendance went in the last show. So yeah, you can see there, well above second place was Propaganda of September 2027, bringing in 810 people as we close in on that 1,000 mark. And how about viewership then? We're going to do that through show history. And we had a total of 12,112 viewers, which is actually slightly down on the last event of Propaganda and is a little bit down on Strong Style 38 as well, interestingly. And it probably is linked to the lower show rating. But yeah, solid nonetheless, and we did increase in popularity in several regions with it. So we have hit the end of the month then, and we actually have news coming from The Butcher, who used to be in our heavyweight division for a short period of time, and he is now actually retiring at the age of 49. And apparently he's upbeat about the upcoming change, and friends say he's looking forward to starting a new life behind the scenes of the industry. Let's find out how we got on for the month, and we will start with the email about the regional battle. And once again, we finished first out of 3, and that will see us get a small 5% boost to our attendance. But how about finances then? How much profit did we make? And I expect a record for profit for 1 month, with us making $2,000 just from that last show. And okay, we made $7,515 in profit. So it looks like that main difference was particularly ticket sales and sponsorship. And sponsorship is almost hitting the estimate now, as we are expected $7,884. And yeah, we made just under that last month. So that would tell me the economy is starting to balance out. And yeah, it is still below average, but is still rising. And hopefully we can see that wrestling industry start to rise as well. And we are on the day of Strong Style 39, where we're going to decide the winner of the Strong Style Showdown. So let's jump into it. Nobody will be getting the night off, as always, and we're going to use a generic venue. And we're expecting 834 fans tonight, compared to the 810 that were at the show last time. And actually, if you look there, the wrestling industry is actually up to below average now, so it's on par with the economy, which again will benefit us going forward. And for broadcasters, once again, we're going to use them all. And booking team meeting, I'm tempted just to keep it in the bank for now. And for locker room incidents, Zayda Zhang and Xia Chow have been getting on particularly well recently, which is definitely good because they're going to be in a stable soon. Trish Adora came to you backstage with an idea for enhancing her character. It has been automatically added to your stored creative ideas, so we'll check that out after this. Zayda Zhang and Gail Peak have been training with Emi Sakura, as has Rokas Horvat, and that's all for that. For addressing the locker room, I'm going to say that Inspire for Strong Style 40, probably night 2. So that means that we're going to... I'm not sure if we're going to pull a rib again. I'm not sure if it loses its effect after too many times. We could potentially meddle between two people's relationships, so let's see if there's any negative ones. Or maybe we can even strengthen a relationship. So yeah, positive meddling will try and improve a relationship. So let's try and strengthen the friendship between Xia Chow and Zayda Zhang, which we saw mentioned in the pre-show incidents. So let's see how that goes. So positive meddle, and you tried positively influencing their relationship. Note that the effect of your meddling, if any, may take time. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on that. And let's check out the Trish Adora character idea then. And she is annoyed, so hopefully this will help her morale if it goes well. And she has one that's a bit of a gamble. Let's just do it and see how it goes. And it was a success. That's great. But she is still annoyed. Do we have any others that are safe? No, we've only got ones that are a gamble. We probably shouldn't take 2 gambles at one show, especially on the same person. Now, I've been considering doing the Ryan Davidson storyline idea. the one that we got recently, but I'm actually going to scrap it because you'll see here that the heat for the storyline is already extremely hot, so there's literally no point in ruining it before it gets to Strong Style 40. So yeah, we're not going to do that one, but I will book the rest of the show now. So we have 3 dark matches this time around, and we see Killer Kelly team up with Trish Adora just to get them both on the card, and they will be taking on Black Swan and Delilah Doom, so obviously 2 local workers. We'll then see a 4-way match, again a dark match, between Adam Priest, Randorado, Luigi Primo and Stephen Wolf. Now we picked up Luigi Primo in the local workers section. Of course, he's been in the news recently. And yeah, we needed somebody to take the fall in that match, so we brought him in. Junai Kai will team with Zeta Zhang for the first time, I believe, to take on Gail Peak and Hyan. And we're just testing out that tag team ahead of the stable being formed. We'll then have an opening segment to the show before Zia Lee takes on Nicole Matthews, before a video package airs, taking us into King Rex versus Eric Hammer. So the 2 rivals will battle tonight. We'll then go to a backstage promo before Ryan Davidson takes on Shaft in singles action, this non-title, before the main event. In the Strong Style Showdown final, Kevin Blackwood, the winner of the junior heavyweight eliminator match, will take on the winner of the heavyweight side, that being Alex Kane, and the winner will leave as the 3rd ever winner of the Strong Style Showdown. So can Kevin Blackwood win his 2nd ever tournament after winning the 1st ever tournament by defeating Ryan Davidson in 2025? Let's find out. And one quick thing actually, we do have a yellow bar at the bottom, this because Eric Hammer is unhappy with his booking in the King Rex Eric Hammer segment, but we will be continuing regardless. So it only says he's a bit unhappy, so there shouldn't be too many major complaints from him. But anyway, let's get into the show. And yeah, we kick off with a decent tag team match here with a 53, as Killer Kelly and Trish Adora have defeated Black Swan and Delilah Doom in 10 minutes 23, when Kelly pinned Swan with a curb stomp. And Killer Kelly here was head and shoulders above everybody else. She got a 69, which is nice, with Trish Adora getting a 48. Delilah Doom with a 28, so not too bad, and Black Swan got a 23, and once again the great performance of Killer Kelly really stood out. So the champion doing bits tonight, and yeah, 53 to start things off. And then we go to a slightly worse match with a 49, as Gran Dorado has defeated Adam Priest, Luigi Primo and Stephen Wolf in 5 minutes 47, when Dorado pinned Primo with a springboard Dragon Rana. Gran Dorado was head and shoulders above everybody else apparently, and Luigi Primo was the weak link as expected. But yeah, Gran Dorado there with a solid 60. Stephen Wolf with a 42, so good from him. Adam Priest again not really impressing with a 34, and Luigi Primo down with a 23. Adam Priest and Luigi were really off their game, which didn't help, but still a 49 is a decent dark match. And then, in great news, Junai Kai and Zeta Zhang don't work well as a team, as they defeat Gail Peak and Hyan in 10 minutes 25, when Junai Kai submitted Gail Peak. Now, this probably means we're going to test Junai Kai and Zaya Chow, and the same for Zeta Zhang and Zaya Chow, to see if we can find some chemistry there. Gail Peak was the weak link of the match with a 22, Hyan with a 47, Junai Kai with a 46, and Zeta Zhang with a 42. So we're in and around the 40s there for the most part. Zeta Zhang has a gimmick that's getting stale, so we'll have to take note of that and try and change that after the show. But we did get a 45, so another good dark match. But let's get into the main show then, as the show opens with a shot of Viano Free Jr. and Joseph Finette Jr. being followed by a camera that appears to be held by Miranda Elise, as you can hear her voice. They spot Kevin Blackwood further down the corridor and go for the attack. They go all in on his leg, using the backstage environment to their advantage, finishing off what they tried to start 2 weeks ago. Finette and Viano then lift Blackwood to his feet and hold him by his arms before Elise cracks the camera over his head before it goes to static. And the Veil Emerges storyline has advanced with this segment but lost heat, but a 51 segment there is not too bad. And you'll notice here at the top that Finette Jr. isn't actually in the segment, even though he's mentioned. That's because he's away at WXW. So my logic is that we taped this last week and that's why we're airing it as a backstage segment. Go with it, and yeah, that's fine. But we advance anyway to the next segment, where in a match, Xia Chow has defeated Nicole Matthews in 14 minutes 41 by submission with a crossface after a distraction from Janai Kai. And also there was a distraction from Zeta Zhang. So we're officially forming that faction now. Xia Chow, Janai Kai and Zeta Zhang, all martial artists and all now aligned. And the Janai Kai vignettes are now complete. Xia Chow got a 38, Nicole Matthews got a 53, so the standout of the match, but it says Xia Chow was really off her game, but is getting better at her gimmick. And just to note, this match was going to be against Thunder Rosa, however, she isn't at the show because she's at WXW on loan. So we're going to have to do something on propaganda to fix it. And the Back from the Dead storyline advanced with this segment and gained heat with a 52. So yeah, decent match. But I was hoping for better from Xia there, but that's fine. And then we go to a video package that's announcing an upcoming junior heavyweight 6-man ladder match at Strong Style 40. The video shows offense from Eagle Blanc, Gran Dorado, and LJ Cleary, who will compete in the match alongside 3 mystery competitors. And the winner receives a championship match at a future date. So yeah, we're going to be running a 6-man ladder match, #1 contendership at Strong Style 40, and 3 mystery opponents will be taking part. And once again, Eagle Blanc and LJ Cleary weren't at the show tonight, so we definitely need to check our availability again, because up until now we haven't had any issues. Just had Gran Dorado on this one, but with it being a video package, we can suspend our disbelief for this one. And it got a 32 though, which isn't too bad. And then we go into a match between King Rex and Eric Hammer that has unfortunately ended in a double count-out. Classic Eric Hammer booking, and this sets up the rematch for Strong Style 40, and we will have a stipulation on that one. I haven't quite decided what one yet though, but we'll figure that out as we get closer. And King Rex had an in-ring performance of 46, Eric Hammer had an in-ring performance of 39, and the Hammering Rex storyline advanced with this segment, but it did lose heat, but a 47 match is okay. And then Miranda Elise cuts a promo directly to the camera, this is backstage, threatening Michael Dante and Killer Kelly with the same fate as Kevin Blackwood if they continue to get involved in Viano's business, that being sticking up for Kevin Blackwood. Elise then challenges Killer Kelly to a match at Strong Style 40 for the title, and if she doesn't accept, there won't be a Killer Kelly anymore. And Neville then gets into a car before driving away from the building. Basically as a way to get them out of the building so they don't get involved in tonight's main event, where an injured Kevin Blackwood will be taking on the monster Alex Kane in the Strong Style Showdown final. And yeah, this basically gives them an excuse not to be there, and the Veil Emerges storyline has automatically advanced with this segment, and we got a 51. So yeah, Michael Dante and Killer Kelly have been warned after what happened 2 weeks ago. And then we go into the heavyweight match between the champion Ryan Davidson and Schaff, as Ryan Davidson picks up a big win against a solid Schaff ahead of his championship match against Wardlow next month. And the win came after a botched interference from Wardlow, and during the match we also had a distraction from AJ Mendez, but unfortunately they weren't able to cost Davidson the win tonight as we head into that championship match, as I say, at Strong Style 40. And a 62, which is really good, and can we top it though in the main event? Let's find out. And then we go into the main event then, where Alex Kane has defeated the wounded Kevin Blackwood in 14 minutes 36 by pinfall with the Mark of Kane. And this was to be expected. Alex Kane coming in as a dominant force, winning the Strong Style Showdown heavyweight match, despite the competitors in it being very, very strong. And he's won tonight against Kevin Blackwood, who has an excuse, but this wouldn't have been a surprise result even if he hadn't been injured heading into it. Kevin Blackwood there with a 63, but he was off his game, unfortunately. Even though it's not as good as it could have been, it still got a 71 rating, so a nice green number there for everybody to enjoy. And yeah, great way to end the show. And let's see how it rated overall. And we got a 64 and improved in every region that we're showing in front of 843 people, which is a record crowd for the company. And next up, let's address the locker room then, where we're going to give praise to Kevin Blackwood for that loss there, even though he was the better performer. And we're actually going to give him a hook, why not? And we'll also praise who else did well that lost? We'll go with Shaf, why not? We'll give him a hug as well, and they're both pleased. And as for financials then, we made $2,291 on the night, and we're now over $1,000 broadcast revenue, over $2,000 merchandise, and getting closer to that $7K now of ticket sales. And for popularity, we did increase in the Mid-South by 1 point, going from 32 to 33. However, it's going to be tricky to go to 35 in time for Strong Style 40. We do only have one show left, that being Propaganda at the end of October, unless we squeeze 2 in before Strong Style 40. I'll think about it. But for now, we will go forward. And we'll check the viewing figures in just a second, but we do have an email from Ryan Davidson, and he thinks Gail Peak is going to be a star, and she's worth pushing hard, so that's something to consider. And Thunder Rosa has officially left WXW. That was the reason she wasn't on the last show, because again, they had a show that clashed with ours for some reason, and Thunder Rosa, on loan from us, chose to appear for them instead. And the last show broke our record by 33 people, and as for viewership, we were watched by 13,223 people across the world, which so far is a record. And it's the first time we've gone above that 13,000 mark. And financially, we've already made $3,000 profit this month, which will only be more by the time all our sponsorship and merchandise money has come in. But if you've enjoyed this episode, make sure you drop a like down below and help me get to 400 likes. And make sure you subscribe with notifications turned on so you don't miss the next one. And check out all the links in the description and all that good stuff. But until next time, peace.